were coaching Super Rugby, and I haven't been disappointed with it. It's a great competition.
I got to be honest with you, right? When I was coaching the Ospreys, I'd always look out for the Connacht away fixture for two reasons, and right, one, we didn't really want to get Connacht during the international window because back then they didn't have a lot of Irish representation. We had a lot of Welsh representation, so it was going to be tough at the best of times going there, but without your big guns, it was tough. And secondly, Galway's such a great place. A Friday night and then 2 nights in Galway. You would love it. It's a great city, isn't it?
Oh, it's a brilliant city, and it's got a heartbeat of its own, mate. And so many options to go out and enjoy yourself, and people tend to come to Galway to do that. They go and enjoy themselves. But I know what you're saying. Like when I was coaching Quins, we happened to play against Connacht, and I remember landing here, and I hadn't heard much about Connacht, to be honest with you. And we landed here, and typically it was pissing wind and rain and coming in horizontal. And I'm thinking, firstly, I'm thinking, I don't think this game's going to go ahead. And then we got to the sports ground, and it's a greyhound track. You're thinking, really? And then you're thinking, and back then, this was back in probably 2007. There wasn't much of a clan stand, but what was there was chock-a block. And then even around the outside, it was chock-a-block. I'm thinking, who are these people? You wouldn't get that in Australia. People wouldn't come out in the wind and the rain, but here they were. And not only were they there, but they were so passionate. And as an opposing coach, you're up in the back of the stand there, Grand Terrace, and all you're getting ribbed by the locals, and so proud of Connacht and everything they did. And anyway, I remember we won the game 18-19, but it was a tough fixture. And I walked out of there thinking, wow, there's a real spirit here. And these blokes definitely played a game of footy that we weren't expecting, but we managed to get away with it. So that was a lasting impression it left on me. But I hear your point. I think teams come to Connacht and they often get a surprise with what team turns up and what they produce on the field.
Yeah, and even back in the day, you underestimated them at your peril. We used to joke that they had a wind machine behind the post there, and they'd turn it on in the second half when they turned around. But that's all changed. Pat Lam brought some success. There was a title. You've continued that. I've just done a load of analysis on you this week for a piece for Guinness Pro 14, and I'm seeing a different style of player. I'm seeing a different style of play. I'm seeing line breaks galore. What is your philosophy here? Tell our viewers here with Connacht, what you hope to bring in terms of style to Connacht.
Well, firstly, mate, I'll say we've got a really good staff. So I'm really fortunate. I've walked into a great organisation. It's got great people everywhere, but our on-field coaches, Nigel Curran looks after our attack, Pete Wilkins looks after our defence, and Jimmy Duffy looks after our breakdown, our forwards play. All very competent coaches, and a lot of credit needs to go to those men. My philosophy on the game is pretty simple. My philosophy on coaching is to know the game and coach the individual. My philosophy on the game, I reckon the only reason William Webb-Ellis picked up the ball was because he was bored of kicking the thing up the other end of the footy field. So he was like, well, pick this thing up, let's get there quicker. So if he's chosen to do that, which has given us the game of rugby, well, that's what it's got to be about. You've got to therefore express yourself with the footy. And when you get it, you've got to do everything you can to find space and to move as quickly as you can towards that opposing try line. So really simply, that's the philosophy I try and live by. And as a player many moons ago, that was the way I loved to play. And in Australia, we were lucky because that's what we had. We had hard surfaces and not a lot of wind and rain. So we could do that. We used to have, I remember we had a whole season for my club team back at home in Royals in Canberra. You weren't allowed to kick the ball. Kicking was not an option. You just had to run. So everything was run. So we grew up just running the football. And, thankfully, and that was one of the things that appealed to me when I met with Connacht, you could see that was their style. You go back to that 15-16 Pro 12 championship they won. They were playing that style of footy where they, if you kick it deep and they see space, they're going to have a go. And that's what I believe in too. So it was pretty much a good marriage there.
Yeah, spot on. And another thing, there's probably always been there, but even more so now with maybe a bit of a success. And I referred to the Cheetahs game this year where, you were behind the 8 ball. They were playing some great rugby, throwing the ball around. There's line breaks galore. And they got a red card, but it was because of the persistent pressure the Connacht were putting on and got over the line in the 85th minute. They never give up, your boys. You know, that seems to be a mentality in the squad that they don't go away. They're going to get something out of the game. They're going to take it to the wire. The spirit there must be amazing in the Connacht squad, and you must be really happy with the way your guys are performing.
Yeah, I am. I'm really happy and really proud of them. And actually, that day we're really proud of them because we could have taken the 3 points, you know, and up in the box, it was fascinating because we got the penalty, and you know, are they going to take the 3 points? Or are they going to have another shot at the scrum? And two of the coaches in the coaching box said, "Take the 3 points," and two of the coaches said, "No, back them. They'll do it." But more importantly, we never send out a message because, you know, you men are out there on the footy field. Whatever you decide to do, as long as you've got a reason for it, when we have a chat afterwards, I'll back you with it. So when we go back and watch the vision on that, you could just see the leaders and the whole team actually the forward pack come together, and you could see him going, "No, let's have a go, let's have a go." And actually, when you talk to Jared Butler, he was like, "I think we should take the 3 points," but everyone else said, "No, we're having a crack at this." So JB, and that's great captaincy on its own. He said, like, he smelt it within the group. He said, "Righto, all right, we back ourselves." The next minute, Tommy Farrell's over on, you know, goes across the line, and we win the game, and the rest is history. So, but I love the fact that they've made that call. I love the fact that they've backed themselves to have a go at it, and they've got the reward. And, you know, as a coach, they're the great moments. For a lot of people, they won't remember that game, but you'll always remember, because that to me was a real turning point for our team, where they made the call, they backed themselves, they got the rewards. Happy days. It's good.
Well, you mentioned the captain there, but for our viewers who maybe follow other Guinness Pro 14 teams, Andy, who are the up-and-coming stars in the Connacht squad to look out for? You've got a plethora of guys coming through and have in the last season or two pushed through, and are becoming, to people like myself who commentate in the games, becoming really well-known names, who in your eyes, without wanting to single too many out, are guys to watch out for.
Yeah, and listen, we're really proud of the development of our players. It's coming through the academy, and I think, you know, I've been heard, I've been quoted saying, and I believe it, you're as strong as what I call the vegetable patch. If your vegetable patch is strong, which is your academy, you know, you're in a healthy spot. So, as I say to my players, you guys are good vegetables, and they hate me saying that, but we got some good vegetables coming through. If I look at Paul Boyle in our back row, only last year, you know, he was in the academy. We took him out of the academy after 4 games because he was giving us so much, and we put him on a development contract. He's got a big future, that young man. He's got a very big future. Connor Fitzgerald, again, another young man coming out of the academy. Another bloke with a big future. When Jack Carty was away with the World Cup this year, he stood up and did extremely well. And that was off a really serious back injury that he had in the off season. Not a lot of people will be aware of that, but, you know, there was questions, will he play footy again? But at that young age, he actually did the work. He had the back operation, and then he took over the number 10 jersey with Jack's absence, and made it tough for Jack to get that back. So he's another, you know, great young prospect. Connor Kenny, you know, only above really, but he's a tight head prop that I'll tell you now. I know in the scrum sessions, if you're the loose head, you don't want to be backing against him, and he's a beast of a man. We got the boys to send through some vision of what they were doing in this lockdown period, just to share with the group, and here he got his sister to video him dragging a bloody car around his property. So he's a beast of a man, mate. He's a big human, and a Connacht boy, and yeah, they'd probably be 3, but as you say correctly, Sean, there's probably a whole host of them I haven't said there, but we got some good young talent coming through.
Now, when I look at the stats from Connacht games, you know, yes, you get your line breakers, your try scorers, you know, Carty scores the points, but, you know, Paul Boyle is one that always comes up, you know, in terms of hard yards, number of carries, tackles, and effective tackles, you know, and those are the guys that we talk about as being the glue of the side. If he's got X factor as well, you're right, you know, he has a big future. I mean, look forward to seeing more of him. How are you finding sitting in with the other Irish provinces? There's obviously, you know, Ulster, Munster, Leinster. They've had their successes in this tournament, but so have Connacht now. Is that sort of bridge sort of being closed a little bit now because of that success and the way that you're performing? And a second question, can Connacht get to a final and possibly win the Guinness Pro 14 again in the near future?
I'll answer the first question first. Listen, I reckon the Irish setup's been great. Centralised model. When I came in, Joe Schmidt was the coach, David Nusifora, and there's a real connectivity amongst all the 4 provinces. We actually had a Zoom chat this morning. The 4 provincial coaches just got together and just talked about how we're dealing with things at the moment. So we are rivals during the 80-minute periods we play against each other, without a doubt. But there is a sense of us and doing the right thing for Irish rugby, which is really healthy. And I do believe Connacht are starting to. Well, they have. Listen, they've proven that they're the equal. We had a good win against Ulster last year, first time in 68 years that we've beaten Ulster, which away from home, which was great. We haven't managed to knock off Leinster nor Munster since I've been here, but firmly in our sights, and hopefully we'll do that in the near future. With regards to Connacht winning another Pro 14 title, or Pro 12 when they did it, but now Pro 14 title, 100%. Like, I'm really excited by the squad we're building. We're bringing in some really good talent next year. We're retaining most of the players that we want to be retaining. We're continuing to build our game. We've got great staff. We've got a great support from our CEO and our board and our whole the Connacht management, and we've got a great crowd behind us. And when that you're always going to see green in the crowd somewhere, mate. But Port Elizabeth, there's nearly more green in the crowd than there is in.
That's right.
We've got a great travelling group of supporters, and nothing better than here in the fields of Athenry after a win.
I agree with you. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Keep up the good work. We've got to mention as well the sterling community work that Connacht do. Obviously, during this lockdown, there's been training and fitness videos being posted out by the rugby guys. And very recently, you had a superhero shirt that was obviously up for charity and sold out. Tell us a bit about that. A bit of fun, but a worthwhile cause as well.
Yeah, great cause, and that's our marketing department put that up as something that well, let's see how it goes, and I think again when I came in, there's 3 big pillars to Connacht: belief, ambition, and community. And do they have belief? 100%. They believe it. We believe every time we take the footy field, we're going to win it. Now, if we don't, righto, we got the shits, but we go out there thinking we can win this thing. Ambition, yep, we want to win another title. We want to build a new stadium. We want Connacht to continue to grow. We want more kids to be playing the game. Grassroots to green shirts is one of our slogans. We want kids playing the game. We believe in the grassroots area of the game too, which is really important, whether you're male or female. So there's some really good work going on there. And community, it's an easy word to say, but they actually live it. Like, we live it. We're out there. I think one of the more impressive things that happened at the front end of COVID was our players ringing all of our season ticket holders who were, I think it was either 65 or plus, or 70 years of age plus, just checking in. How you going? I believe you're in. I believe you're in lockdown here at the moment, and you've got to cocoon yourself. Sorry, we don't have any footy. Appreciate your support. Can I help you in any way? And some of the chats that came out of that. Now, these are just young blokes ringing a person that they've probably never met, but there's a connection there because they support Connacht, they play for Connacht, and we respect the support and the energy they give us when we're playing and when we're out there. And just to marry those two things together was pretty powerful. So it didn't surprise me when I saw those jerseys flying off the shelf, because there is a genuine support both ways. Connacht to the community and the community back to Connacht. It's pretty powerful.
Brilliant initiative, and well done to everybody. Before I let you go, Andy, I'm gonna turn this full circle on you. When lockdown does finally end and we get back to rugby, you get back into your training environment. What is the thing that you will have become better at?
Well, I've become better at making scones, believe it or not.
Great.
Or scones, as I'm now told that it's up here. Listen, that would be the easiest thing. I used to make them always on Greek yogurt, but my wife put me onto this 92-year-old Aussie lady called Muriel, who makes scones with cream and lemonade. And let me tell you, they're not healthy, but they are unbelievably good. So if you're ever in town, Sean, I'll make you a scone. But back to the stuff that's probably going to help the footy team. I love my reading, and I've been doing some really good reading, and recently just finished the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and picked up some nuggets out of that. And I'm really keen to put some of those things in place. So, and probably the other big thing, mate, this has given us time. You know, I've been a footy coach for 25 years. As you well know, you don't have time. Like you're the hamster on the wheel. And on reflection, you look at it and you go, why are we doing that? Why is our currency busy? Our currency should be we're effective or we're impactful. And so now just looking at it and saying, how can we be better at doing that? And we've put together our collective coaching group and athlete performance and medical, put together a weekly structure that I'm so excited by because it gives us time. We've presented it to our leaders. Our leaders have just come back with some feedback, which actually that was one of the pings that came up before. That was their feedback coming through. But one of those. But I'm really excited by it, mate. I think there's, you know, hopefully, I don't want us to get back to. Everyone says get back to normal. No, our normal is not what it was because this is a great chance to change what your normal is. So they're probably 3 things straight up, mate, which I know I'm going to be better at.
Brilliant, mate. Well, look, I'm really energized and excited about that. I'm looking forward to seeing an Andy friend with new sharp tools when they get back, a Connacht side that is enthused to get back at it and doing well in their conference and Guinness Pro 14. And I always nag our broadcasters to send me out to commentate the Galway, but they stick me on the Welsh games all the time. If I get one, mate, I'll be knocking your door for a Guinness and a scone, and I hope you look forward to that.
No, that would be great. Good to chat to you, Sean.
Good. Thanks very much, Andy.
Good on you, mate.
Alla se li colla, sa città,